Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This chapter is talking about sales and distribution. So in this chapter, we are going to go over the process. How do companies actually sell to their customers? Either a customer starts by inquiring, asking a question about a product. The company will respond by creating a quotation for them. And then the customer can accept that quotation or reject that quotation. If they accept it, then you create a sales order. At that point, you are checking, do I have inventory? Is this a good customer that I should accept their sales order? If you do not have inventory, then you have to start production. Will you be able, the third question that you want to ask, will I be able to deliver on time or not? Let's say you have already the product in storage. The next thing that you will do is to reserve the quantity for the customer. Say, I cannot sell this quantity, this is just for the customer, for this customer. So we said that at this time, what is in storage is different from what is available to promise. I may have 200 in storage, but I can only promise 150 because 50 are already reserved for the customer. So you reserve to the customer, then you give permission to the warehouse to release the documents. Release them to packaging. They start packaging and they are ready to ship. And when they ship, ownership, we said, is transferred to the customer. And then we go that affects the accounts receivable. And you have to wait until you receive payment and reflect that on your revenue as well as the accounts receivable. So that's quickly the process. So here we quickly go over the process. Before you create the sales order, you have to receive something from the customer, and that's their purchase order. So at the customer site, they should have already gotten permission to buy, created a purchase order, they send us the purchase order. We copy it into a sales order because we are going to sell. They are purchasing, we are selling. Then, as we said, this part is actually three things in SAP. To give permission to the warehouse to move the material out of the warehouse to packaging, to actually package, and then ship. Once we ship, as we said, that transfers payment. So we are going, as we ship, the system will automatically create an invoice, will automatically charge accounts receivable, and we wait for the payment to be received. So the main functions really in sales and distribution is we have a pre-sale before actually selling, and that's responding to the questions that the customer may have, sending a quotation. That's before the sale. After the sale is creating the sales order, packaging, shipping, and then the last part is the accounting part, and that's invoicing and receiving payment. So the modules that are involved in sales and distribution is customer relationship management, accounting, of course, sales and distribution, and inventory. Yes. So all four are part of the process. So as you can see, we have information coming about the customer, and that's, it should be like above here. So we have also customer relationship. We have sales, like creating the sales order, shipping, receiving. We have the shipping and we have the billing, and the billing will affect financial accounting. So what is the material management here? What do we have under material management? Inventory. Well, here we don't have purchasing. We have say we may purchase if we don't have enough material to sell to the customer, and we have to start production. Again, in this chapter, we have organizational data. And remember, another term for the organizational data is the organizational structure. That's the units that are responsible. So, of course, every company will have the client. If I have different subsidiaries, I'll have different company codes. And then we said we should have at least one sales organization. That's the unit that is responsible for creating the sales agreement with the customer. So negotiating with the customer, anything that has to do with the customer is the responsibility of the sales organization. Then we have different units underneath the sales organization. These are the distribution channels. Am I selling retail? Am I selling wholesale? Am I selling through the internet? Every one of these channels will have its own unit. We talked about divisions. If I sell different types of products, so let's say I am a computer manufacturer. I have a division for the processor. I have a division for the screens. I have a division for accessories. So here, because we are selling bikes, we have either accessories or we have bicycles. That's under the division. And then we have the sales area, and it is a combination of several things together. It is the sales organization, the distribution, the division, and the distribution channel. All of them will make the sales area. And we took the example of selling, for example, natural gas in a specific location, in a specific regional area, and whether we are selling it wholesale or retail. The shipping point. Should a company have only one shipping point? No. So the shipping point depends on how you are going to ship the material to the customer. It can be close to an airport. It can be close to a port, or it can be close to where a shipping company that will ship by car. We have the credit control area, and that is responsible for defining the credit limits for each customer. You should be profiling the customer. So you don't deal with customers individually. You create a profile for the customer. So if this is your first interaction, you may say no credit. I don't know you. I don't know whether you would pay or not. Or you may assess my credit worthiness. See how I dealt with other vendors. Did I pay on time or not? In the US, that information is reported. So everyone can look at it. The companies actually have also a credit score. So you have a score. Actually, countries have credit scores. You may have heard in the news that they were looking at Qatar and seeing if they need to lower the grade because of the oil and gas prices and so on, and whether they will be able to pay their loans or not. So every customer will have a particular credit score, what we call their credit worthiness. And based on that credit worthiness, you determine, should we allow them credit or not? So if it is pay immediately, you don't allow them any credit. Pay within 30 days, there is some credit. Pay within 60 days, pay within 90 days. So they can either pay right away, as soon as they get the invoice, or they pay after 30 days or after 90 days, depending on their credit worthiness. But usually you group customers together, which means if you belong to group A, you have to pay right away. If you belong to group B, then you pay within 30 days. If you belong to group C, then you pay within 90 days. So that there is a standard. You don't want to treat every individual or every customer differently, but if they belong to the group, that's how they would do. Remember about the plans. We said we may have different types of plans. What are the different types of plans? Time. We may have a manufacturing plan, a plan that actually manufactures goods. We have a distribution plan, a plan that distributes the goods. We have a storage or a shipping plan, and that's where you store and you ship also. And then we said that any storage, any warehouse is divided into storage locations. Do you remember what are the different storage locations that we have? Depends on the material. So if it is a raw material, it is in a separate storage location than the finished goods, than the trading goods. So every warehouse will divide it into locations, the north, the east, the south, the west, and every location will have a specific type of material, whether they are raw material or finished goods or semi-finished goods or trading goods. Okay, so quickly, a sales organization is the main thing that you want to focus on is really they are responsible for negotiating the sales with the customer. So they negotiate, especially when you're buying very expensive products. So you have to have negotiation with the customer. The sales organization will focus on a specific geographic area. So, and why? Why do we need a sales organization in each geographic area? It's really to understand that market. So I may be selling worldwide, but I have one for the Middle East because the Middle East is so different from the Far East. If I sell to China, Korea, that's different from selling to the Middle East. And it's also different from selling to the Europeans, the Westerns. So again, it is important that you create different sales organizations for better understanding of customer needs. When we report the sales, we report at the sales organization level. So your report says your sales in North America, your sales in Europe, your sales in China or Far East, and so on. So reporting your sales is by geographic location, which is by sales organization. Here is like a representation of the sales. So how many sales organizations do you see? 4. We have 4 sales organizations, 2 in the US and 2 in Germany. We talked about the distribution channel. That's the path that the product goes through from where it originated to the customer. So to reach the customer, what is the path that product takes? Air or, wholesale, retail, or through the internet? How are you selling? These are the different ways, are the different distribution channels. Why do we create them separately? Because each will have its own policies, their own shipping, their own pricing. So you have to have different distribution channels. So on the exam, if I give you a scenario and I tell you that they are selling, and I say they sell retail and wholesale, how many distribution channels will you create? I'm not going to ask you and say how many distribution channels, but I'm going to tell you, create the structure. So right away when you see you are selling retail and wholesale, right away you will say that's two distribution channels. You should have at least one distribution channel. There is no way that a company that sells will have no distribution channel. Why? True and why can't a company have no distribution channel? Yes. Yeah, I mean, like you have to be selling something. How are you selling it? So let's say we are selling services. Let's say we are like a hospital. So what would be the distribution channel? I know, but what type of distribution channel is it? We only have three, as I said, retail, wholesale, and internet. If you are a hospital providing services to patients that come in, what would be the distribution channel? Retail only. There is no wholesale in that case, or internet. You do not deliver the service through the internet. But let's say I give you an example of a company that teaches students over the internet. Then your only distribution channel is internet. Okay. So you can see that the distribution channel here are wholesale and internet. And we are creating 3 under the US, 3 under Germany. Division, as we said, focus on a specific type of a product. So I have a specific product and I create a division for it. Because it's so different from the other products that I'm dealing with. And again, pricing is different. The agreement itself, the policies is different. So the division is for a specific product line. A specific product line. So the sales organization for a different geographical location. The division is for a different product line. And the distribution channel is for a different delivery method. So again, we have the bicycle and accessories, as we said, as 2 divisions under both the US and Germany. Combination of the sales organization, distribution channel, and division makes the sales area. And again, you report your sales by sales area. So, like I said, natural gas, North Africa, and wholesale. The combination of these 3 together makes 1 sales area. And again, here it shows you, again, the sales organization, the division, and the distribution channel. A particular product that I'm selling to in a specific geographic location using a specific distribution channel. We talked about the plant. Remember, the plant can be either a manufacturing, a warehouse, which means storage, or it can be just an office. So if in case of the hospital, you may have plants that are just offices, like the physician offices. But do we need a storage for a hospital? Yes, because they use supplies. They have to use supplies. Agency? What do you mean by agency? I'm talking about the hospital. Tourism agency. Yes, of course. So here it says a company code must have at least 1 plant. So if I am a company, I have to have at least 1 plant, and it could be just an office. But I cannot have no plants. There is no way that you are a company without having any plants. A plant must be assigned uniquely to a company code. So let's say, can I assign the same plant to 2 different company codes? That's in SAP. But in reality, sometimes if you have a storage, you can use the storage for 2 different company codes if they exist under the same client. So let's say I have 2 branches, 2 companies, and they are under the Almira, for example. So Almira has two companies underneath it. Okay, so Almira is the client, and I have two branches underneath. And let's say these two branches use the same storage location. The SAP will not allow you to do that. But what you do in reality, in reality it can happen. What you do is you give two different plans. What do you think? I should give them what? The same one. لا ما هو هي storage location. number ايه؟ لا أنا عندي client. I have one client. I have two company codes. I have one plant for both company codes, but the SAP will not allow you to do that. So I'm telling you, I should create two plans, and the two plans should have the same
number of
the same what?
Materials.
The same address. ما هو اللوكيشن واحد. هي نفس المبنى هو storage for both. So if you want to make both use the same storage location, but as we said, the software will not allow you. So create two plans, but give them the same address. So a plan can be, as we said, a storage, or it can be a shipping point, or it can be an office, or it can be a manufacturing facility. Okay. So we have here plant 1, plant 2, plant 3, and plant 1 is sending or selling through distribution chain 1. Plant 2 is sending to all three of them, and plant 3 is just sending to distribution chain 3. And it says which of these plants is likely to be a manufacturing facility. يعني واحد ممكن يكون just warehouse. Plant 2. Plant 2 is a manufacturing facility. It produces goods, and that's why it's giving to all distribution chains. While plant 1 most probably is just a warehouse. Plant 2, plant 3 can be just an office. But it is plant 2 that produces the goods, and it has to send to all three distribution chains. We talked about the shipping point. The shipping point, we said, can be close to an airport, can be a loading dock, can be a mail room where people come and pick up the mail from, can be close to a railway road. Or it can be just a group of employees, and this is very interesting. So it can be just a group of employees that will take the things and then take them to, for example, Federal Express. So it can be an office where if you want to send it, let's say I have a parcel, I want to send it, I'll just go and give it to that person. And they will take it to the mailing company. So you should have at least one shipping point. So how about if you are an office, what would be your shipping point? So you are selling services. We said you should have at least one shipping point. At least you are getting mail, invoices, sending invoices to your customers. So the least thing is just mail. And you also have raw materials or supplies. If you are an office, you need like pens and pencils and things that will be paper that will be delivered to you. Does the shipping point have to be physically located within a plant? No. As we said, we can only have individuals that will take outside of the plant. So you can see, look at the picture and see. See here? I have a plant that has a shipping point, but other plants don't have anything. So all four plants send to one shipping point. Most probably, this is a plant that is a distribution center. So a plant may have a shipping facility or it may not have a shipping facility. So for example, if you are sending by normal mail, you will use plant 1. If you are sending express, then you will use plant 3. So these are just like pictures to make you remember what is a shipping point. So as we said, close to a loading dock, close to a railroad, close to a port, close to an airport. Questions regarding shipping points? Okay. Then we talked about the credit control area, responsible for determining the credit for every customer. You don't do that for the individual customer. You try to categorize, we said, the customer into a group. So that customer belongs to group A, or that customer belongs to group B or group C, because it is against the law to give different treatment to different customers who have the same qualities. يعني الكريدت سكور بتاع دفرة is 700, mine is 670. We're very close. We should be treated the same way. So either most companies would prefer to have a centralized control area. So at the client level, the credit is determined for everyone. One credit area for all company codes. All the company codes have one credit area because they have one policy, one standard, and they apply it to everyone. So all customers in all company codes are managed by one credit control area. The decentralized, when will I have the decentralized credit control area? Yes, different geographic locations, specifically different countries that are far away, have different policies, and so on. So different economic conditions, especially because of different countries, will result in creating a decentralized credit control area. Again, but you have to be sure that you have standard processes. Meaning you apply the same to everyone that is the same. Every category, every group have the same treatment. So here you have a centralized control area right under the enterprise. And a decentralized will have, every company code will have its own credit control area. Now, why is it in this case that I have one control area for 3 company codes? But it is still decentralized. It is decentralized because you have 2 credit control areas, one for Europe, one for North America. Now, if you look, US, Canada, and Mexico, they are very close to each other. Again, they may have the same policies. That's why I don't need to duplicate. I'm going to treat the customers the same way in all 3 countries. Again, Germany, Britain are very similar, so I'm going to create one credit control area for them. Okay, so now, if I ask you on the exam, give you a scenario, give you a company, and then tell you what is the sales organization, what is the organization of the sales module within that organization, what should be your answer? Start after, and I will tell you, start after the company code. Sales organization. So one thing you will look in the question is, are they operating in different geographic locations or not? Different geographic locations, different sales organization. Second, the distribution channel. Are they selling only through retail or retail, wholesale, and the internet? Third, the division. Do they have one product line or different product lines? So again, and that's how exactly I want you to answer the question. You have to be systematic and say the structure starts with sales organization, distribution channel, division. All three make up the sales area. The sales area. And then we have the plant. And we said that at least we should have one plant per company code. So if I say this is a multinational organization, you should have at least one plant per company code. But if I tell you this is a manufacturing company, how many plants will you create? At least two. At least one for manufacturing, one is for distribution, the warehouse. Okay. So we have the plants. What else do we have? The credit control. The credit control area, and that's for setting the credit controls. Okay, I'm going to stop right here. I will